You're back. That is so cool. Are you learning this about love? How exciting and wonderful love is? It's not just a word. It's just not an empty four-letter word here. This is a good four-letter word. Kind of four-letter words a lot of times are bad, so you want to stay away from those. Love hates evil. Remember that? So let's review. We have love God with everything. Heart, soul, strength, mind. We have love people with everything. Love your neighbor as yourself. At least treat them equally as yourself. And then we have the ABCs of love. We have all people all the time, bears others' burdens, covers sin, does not demand its own way, endures everything, forgives and forbears, gives, hates evil, imitates Jesus, just isn't jealous, kind, listens to others, matures from Bible study, never fails, obeys God's word. That's where we are. Obeys God's word. So what we need to do is to obey God's word. Love does that. How can you say you love Jesus and you don't do what he says? Not happening. So obeys God's word is a really good one. Jesus said in John chapter 14, he says, if you love me, you'll obey my commandments. I'm going to read it to you right here. Here it is. It says in verse 15, chapter 14 of John, right here, in verse 15, it says, if you love me, keep my commandments. And what is his commandments? Love God with all your heart, soul, strength, mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. And then it goes on and repeats it. When Jesus repeats something, someone keeps repeating something, it's pretty important, very important. Jesus says later in verse 21, he that has my commandments, you kind of know them. It says, and keeps them, you're practicing them, you're doing them, you're keeping them, you're obeying him. He says, he it is that loves me. So child, don't say you love Jesus if you're going to do whatever you want. You don't love Jesus. Now, there might be moments in my life I love God, but I have moments where I love myself more at that moment. Ugh, I hate it. I hate evil. Love hates evil. But he says, it says, and keeps them, he it is that loves me, and he that loves me shall be loved of my Father, which is so cool. He'll love who you are, what you're like. And I will love him. Jesus says, I'll really love you, and will manifest myself to him. That means he's going to literally show himself to you, like really reveal himself. So love obeys God's word. It reminds me, by the way, of like soldiers saluting, Here's a picture of American soldiers. Can you see them right there? Very, very cool. This is a group of soldiers, and do you see how they're saluting? They're in a stance, a posture of, yes, sir. That's what we need to be with God. We need to be, yes, sir. That's how we should treat Jesus. And we should say, yes, sir. If he tells us to give something away, yes, sir. If he tells us to, pray for someone, yes, sir. If he tells us to serve someone, yes, sir. If he tells us to not gossip or don't say anything evil against someone, yes, sir. It goes on and on. And when you're doing that, do you have any idea what that's doing to the heart of God? You are right on, child. You say, but Gordon, it's hard sometimes. Oh, I understand there's moments. I know I've sinned before and said something I shouldn't have, or got angry at someone I shouldn't have, or something like that. But, we have our moments. But the fact is, if you go to God and say, please forgive me, he'll forgive you. And then just keep growing in this and practicing it. Don't mess with God on this. Don't clown around. Don't play with this stuff. Be serious. So if you're going to say you're a Christian, or if you're going to say you love Jesus, then you need to obey him, God's word, all of it, whatever you learn, and learn as much as you can about it. So you're definitely going to do what he wants. Don't play with God. Don't clown around. He's not playing on this. It's very, very important. Okay? So that is meaning obey God's word. Hope you're getting it. Study the word and then follow it. And you will be pleasing the Lord. God bless you.